Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lenette Looks, and if you're new, welcome to Lenette Looks. Today I'm going to be talking about Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe. This was my first movie ever seeing Marilyn Monroe. I don't know why I waited this long, but she did not disappoint at all. Now let's get into this movie. Tony Curtis plays Joe and Jack Lemmon plays Jerry. They both are jazz musicians and they just finished one gig, and that one wrapped up, and it wrapped up in a very, very big way. So now they're looking for another gig. So they go to this agency, and the only thing available are 2 spots for female jazz players. And Jerry's actually considering that he could actually be a woman just to get the job, and the agent is like, okay, no, that's not gonna work. And his friend Joe is like, no, I am not doing that. I'm not gonna go drag to get my next gig. Meanwhile, they leave and they're like, okay, we have to find the next gig. And in the meantime, they're in this garage. They're gonna drive away, but before they get to drive away, mobsters start coming in, and they are out to get the owner of this place that they borrowed the car. I think they borrowed a car from him or something, but in any case, they hide behind their car and they are witnessing murders. These mobsters are just firing off and killing all of these guys in this garage. Joe and Jerry are hiding behind the car, and then all of a sudden they make a noise. They're about to leave to try to run off, and the guy is like, one of the head mobsters is like, wait a second, we can't have witnesses. So they're gonna also kill Joe and Jerry. Luckily, they find some way to escape and run like crazy and just get out of there. And they wind up escaping and running off. But guess what happens? This is the twist. This is the plot twist that is so hilarious. I forget which one, but he gets an idea like, okay, where was that gig at that we have to be in drag for this jazz band? And they're like, yeah, you're right. Let's call them. Let's call and see if we can actually book the gigs. And they call and pretend to be women, and they get the jobs. So now they have a means to, get away and go to another place as in a disguise as women. So this is where all the funny parts come in, because throughout most of the movie they are in drag, and it is so funny. I watched it on this Criterion Blu-ray. If you're gonna watch it, which I really hope you do, it is worth buying this version, because the bonus features are absolutely amazing. The director, Billy Wilder, he gets interviewed. They talk about Marilyn. What was it like to work with her? Marilyn Monroe, along with Jack Lemmon, stole the show. I also enjoyed Tony Curtis, but I swear Jack Lemmon is hilarious. He, in my eyes, throughout the movie, he really made me laugh out loud so many times. I just wanted to continue watching Marilyn. I can see why in such a short period of time of her becoming a star, I can totally see from this initial movie that I saw why people were just enamored by her. She has such a presence. The persona that she portrays, it's everything. It is literally everything. She's just so beautiful, and she's a great talented actress, along with her beauty. Everything that I've imagined she would be, she was in this movie. Sexy, talented, just she shines so bright among all the rest. Like, she is a shooting star. I can't say enough about how she really does light up a room. She personifies everything that I positively heard about her. In the bonus features, they spoke of Marilyn, how she was on set, how she was behind the scenes when she was off set. The bonus features are so good. The movie was so good. You have to get the Criterion version that has these bonus features. There's so much content. They interview the actors. They interview both actors. They interview the director, Billy Wilder. He was great. Everyone gave so much information about what it was like on set, and about Marilyn and how she was. And I don't want to give it away, but unfortunately, obviously, she could not be in the interview, but they just spoke of how she was. And I was shocked also to hear, I mean, I knew she had problems, and the way she passed away was so devastating to all her fans, to everyone. It was like, wow, she was such a super star, and she rose to stardom so very quickly, and she was so young. She passed away so young, unfortunately. She stands the test of time. She is just, you know, what you've heard about her. She's Marilyn Monroe. You see, I saw the movie with her, the iconic scene where her dress gets pulled up by the wind. And that was another awesome movie. You have to see that one. And I will be doing another review on that movie. I want to do a review on each movie that I've seen so far with Marilyn in it. And the one where her dress gets pulled up, and it's called The 7-Year Itch. And that scene, you know, you see the dress getting pulled up. And I didn't know that in that scene in particular, you don't really see everything how you see it as they advertised it with her dress. Actually, you see like her dress getting pulled up and stuff. But in the movie, you don't really get to see the full way it was advertised, because they couldn't. It was too sexy for that that time. There was a company, I have to get into it when I review that movie, but there was a company that was totally against. They felt like it was too sexualized, so they had to cut the full view of what you saw in the advertisement of the dress getting pulled up for the most part. That one little scene, my God, it was so iconic to this day, super iconic. It's like bittersweet that she didn't live life as fully as I'm sure many people would have hoped she would have lived. I would have loved to see her as she aged. Marilyn Monroe, she was sexually abused as a child. She struggled in her personal life to overcome so much emotional baggage. She was adopted from foster care to foster care, from home to home, and unfortunately she was abused. Her youth, that life that she had lived up to when she was a teenager, was not nice. To say it softly, it was not good at all. In my viewpoint, she did overcome. Her life could have been worse, but she became an icon. She became a movie star. Her birth name was Norma Jean Mortensen, and she totally transformed herself into the iconic Marilyn Monroe. It's very inspiring, although she was dealing with a lot in her personal life. People can go through a lot of tough circumstances and rise above it, but you have to watch these bonus features, because they talk about it in the bonus features. The director, there's such lengthy interviews, and they're great and they're so interesting. It's so worth getting this. I mean, I'm not a sponsor for this or whatever, but it is so worth buying this one. I don't know if there's any other Blu-rays that contribute this much to having so much bonus features, so much behind the scenes that you get to kind of be a fly on the wall with these interviews and all of the descriptions that these actors are expressing to state what it was like to work with Marilyn, what was it like to be on set. So much fun making this movie, lots of laughs, and I don't know, it was just really entertaining. And obviously I have to after listening to me talk so highly about this movie, I just think it was so good. I laughed. When a movie can make me laugh out loud, my God. And it was so, the plot was great. You're gonna love it. Guys are gonna love it. Girls are gonna love it, because there's a romantic twist to this with Marilyn and Joe, played by Tony Curtis. One thing I have to say is that they're like running away from the mob. You know, you have action, you have adventure, you have killing, you have murders, but you have hilarious scenes with them being in drag, and they are women they're pretending to be women with all of these women, and the iconic Marilyn Monroe, and she plays Sugar Cane. Yes, so she plays Sugar Cane in this movie. What a name. And she has all of the moves, all of her attire, her dress, the way she talks, the breathy way she talks in this movie and in most of her movies. Totally iconic. I loved it. The only thing that I must say that I did not appreciate, and I say that lightly, but I really wish Tony Curtis, he really liked, you know, he's in drag, and Marilyn is a singer in the jazz group, and she oh my God, she sings I Want to Be Loved by You, and she does like this Betty Boop sort of thing, boop boop be doo boop, you know, like while she's singing, but she captures everybody's attention. The dresses that she wears in this movie, she fills out all these dresses so beautifully. She had a very curvaceous figure. In the bonus features, I will say this, they said that she happened to be more voluptuous in this movie because she was pregnant, and she unfortunately lost the baby. So she was dealing with that. So a lot of things that you're gonna hear about their experience with Marilyn, they're positive, and then there's some things that they, you know, are, you would say, negative, but understanding also that she had been through a loss of her child, and she was still emotionally distraught from that experience. So anyway, her dress, her wardrobe, her dresses, you're gonna find out about her dresses, some of the dresses she wore, and they really break it down, like how they designed the dresses and everything, and certain scenes that her and Tony Curtis had together, because Tony, he plays Joe, and he's in drag, and they're both like, oh my God, they're like looking around at all these women, and they're like, oh my God, and Joe actually keeps his cool, but Jerry, they're on this train to the place that they're gonna perform at, but they have to stay overnight on this overnight, you know, on this train, this railroad train, and they have bunk beds and everything, so all the women are in pajamas, and these guys are just looking, and then Joe has to like put, you know, make sure like he's talking sense into Jerry, because Jerry is like, he's just like, his eyes are all out, and he's like, oh my God, yes, this is wonderful. And he can't help himself. So when Marilyn comes in the picture, they actually, both of them are like, oh wow, this is amazing, you know. And Marilyn is like, goes on to one of their beds too. She's like, isn't this such a great time and everything? And he's like, oh yeah, this is a really great time. And she's laying down with him. But you know what's really fascinating, well, very interesting, is that back then, in that time, they were not allowed to drink alcohol. Alcohol was illegal. Alcohol was illegal. You could not buy alcohol. You can go to jail, get arrested if alcohol was found on you. So Marilyn had her little jug, and the guys saw like, oh shoot, she's, you know, she has alcohol on her. It was like after our party on this train. Meanwhile, Jerry is like, oh my God, I gotta get I need to cool down, you know. And all these women are in his bed, and they're like telling stories and stuff, you know, like girls do. You know, you sit down and you have like a slumber party. Well, they're all women, young women. And Marilyn is like right next to him. They're eating snacks, they're like drinking and stuff. That scene is amazing, absolutely amazing. You are gonna laugh, you are going to, I mean, it is just so funny. Oh, but one of the things that I must say is that there's other scenes, oh my God, there's other scenes that it's just so funny that Jerry gets involved in, because this guy is like attracted to him, although he doesn't know his guy. So he's in drag, and this guy is like all flirting with him and stuff like that. So that whole thing is so hilarious. The shenanigans that happen, that go on with that, you know, type of banter, that type of relationship that's happening with this guy that's liking him, but you know, her. And then Joe, he really is fascinated by Marilyn too, and he wants to date her. He's like, how can I date this girl? I'm in drag, like what am I gonna do? So he takes off his drag, and he knows where she is, you know, when they have like their time out at the beach and stuff like that. So he's like pretends to be this guy and tries to get her attention and stuff like that. And as his pretend voice, this is what I didn't like, as his pretend voice, he makes up this little twisted version of my guy, Cary Grant. Now, only Cary Grant can play Cary Grant. He is the original. He is, you know, everything. So when he started, you know, with his voice like Cary Grant, I was like, no, that's not gonna work for me. Because now I'm thinking about Cary Grant, and I'm also thinking like, that's, I don't want to say a shitty accent of Cary Grant, but I'm sorry, I didn't appreciate the accent at all. It didn't take away from the movie for me entirely. It did not. I wish he would have done an accent of his own of his own making, because that would have held my attention, and I wouldn't have been thrown off thinking about my guy, Cary Grant, and thinking, okay, this is an imitation of Cary Grant. I don't want to, you know, I didn't want to, there is no Cary Grant in front of me, so it was like a disappointment. Like, you know, you can't imitate Cary Grant, you know, it's like, no, not gonna happen. And you'll see it in the bonus features, and he does talk about that. So that I wish he would have, again, created his own style of voice when he took his drag off to become, you know, a man that he thought Sugar Cane, played by Marilyn Monroe, would be attracted to. So that I wish he did not do. Overall, guys, you know, I really hope that you watch this movie. If you've watched it already, please comment. Tell me what you thought of this movie. It is a 1959 classic movie. This was my first introduction to a Marilyn Monroe movie, and I am glad this was the first one that I saw. And I have seen, again, I think 4 or 5 movies that she is in, and I love them all. And I will, as I said before, do more reviews on the movies that I have watched with her, especially the 7 Year Itch. That was really good. So anyway, guys, I must say I gave this 4.5 stars. I'm gonna say I cut half because I didn't appreciate that accent. I really did not. But what's done is done. And it's also a tribute, or what should I say, a nod to Mr. Cary Grant, that he thought trying to replicate that accent, because that accent only works with him, with this man embodies entirely. That accent can only be successfully done by the original Cary Grant. You know, I'm sorry, I cannot, I do not approve of that accent. I wish the director would have told him, try something of your own. Don't take from another actor's, such an icon, another icon. Don't do that, because people are gonna think that should be Cary Grant. Then I want to see Cary Grant in this movie then, you know, with Marilyn, you know. But I loved all the actors. They all were great. The ending was so good. The ending was so funny. You're gonna see everything play out with the mobsters. Like, do they get caught? Do the mobsters come and get them? Like, what happens? Because remember, they cannot really sleep soundly, because they know that that mobster man, they were getting chased when they snuck out of that garage. They were getting chased by them. They wanted to kill these guys because they witnessed the murders, because they just blasted off. They killed a whole bunch of men in that garage. So that was absolutely horrible, because now they are on the run. So they're in this jazz band, they have a gig, but they're obviously needing to be undercover because they're afraid for their lives. So in the midst of all of this chaos, you have some romance going on, some funny romance. It kind of made me think back at, I don't know if you are familiar with the show Bosom Buddies, but they also, these two guys, one of them was played by Tom Hanks. It's a show starring Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari, and it's from 1980, and I believe it ended in 1982, but it was a hilarious sitcom. These guys were also needing to dress in drag. Their New York City building is getting, demolished, and they're needing to get out and move someplace else. And their friend, I think from work, she says, oh, there's spaces in my building, but it's a women's only building, so you would have to possibly become women, dress as women. And they actually do that. So anyway, it just reminded me of that too, because that sitcom I watched and it is so funny. It's so hilarious. So I can talk so much about this movie, but I'm not going to give out any more information, because again, why would I want to tell you all about this movie if you can get this criterion and totally laugh out loud like I did while watching it? I think you're not going to be disappointed at all. Thank you for watching Lenette Looks. Please subscribe to my channel. If you like this episode, click that like button. I really do appreciate all the likes, all the comments, and all of my subscribers. It really does help me continue making more videos. So on that note, guys, I will see you on the next one.